Welcome to the No More Late Fees podcast. I'm Jackie.
And I'm Danielle, and we're just two best friends and ex-Blockbuster employees rewatching some of the best and worst movies from the late 90s and early 2000s. This week, we are talking about the 1998 holiday movie, I'll Be Home for Christmas. Jackie is elated right now.
I'm so
There's a few
excited.
movies that have been on her list, and this one, it's a long time coming. Anything with JTT.
Love it. Here for
it. But before we dive in, let's get into some housekeeping. If you love the podcast and you want to support us, here's a few ways that you can.
We need reviews, y'all. We love them. They fill our bucket. They warm our heart. And they get us viewership. So find it in your heart. A Christmas gift to us. Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Winter Solstice, Festivus gift to us. And leave a review on your favorite podcasting platform. And thank you.
Yeah. And if you don't have Apple, no problem. Go to Spotify. We are at a 4.7 right now. I'm hurt that we have dipped past 4.9. So
how did that happen?
Somebody is hating on us, Jackie. Hating with some one-star reviews.
Sabotage.
But it is what it is. But we know there's people out there who love us. So it really is not that hard on Spotify to just click those 5 stars. It's so easy.
That's it.
So easy. And make sure you subscribe to the show on any platform that you listen, because that really helps us. And it helps you, because then you know when our episodes are live. Because, yeah.
We both have different brands of ADHD, and we try and stick to a schedule, but it doesn't always happen. Yeah, so sometimes you get a little surprise during the week. And if you want more, if the episodes and the interviews are not enough, head over to Patreon, sign up to be a bestie, and you'll get all of that exclusive content. You'll get deleted scenes, behind the scenes action. You'll get some playlists, and best of all, you'll get gifs to use of the two of us. Yeah. They're amazing.
And every now and again, our very good friend Shannon likes to go on there and burn me any chance that she gets. And they're very funny to other people other than myself. So there's that.
I love it when Shannon roasts Danielle. It's my favorite thing.
The most recent one came in a text message where she told me that my black card needs to be revoked. So there's that. Yay.
But why would your black...
I believe there's an episode, I must have been talking about like how obsessed I am with Harrison Ford. What was the other thing?
Ron Howard was on there too.
Oh, you know, I feel like this podcast is supposed to be a safe space for me to say things about my childhood. And so, yes, I did think Ron Howard was a young man and was attractive on Happy Days, because I didn't know that the show had come out like 20 years prior. Give me a break. Okay. Safe space.
I mean, it's a safe space for me. So what is I'll Be Home for Christmas about, Danielle?
Oh, I'll Be Home for Christmas is a Disney movie, and it came out in 1998. It's an American Christmas family comedy that follows a college student who must make it from his campus in LA, California, to his family's home in Larchmont, New York, in time for Christmas dinner in order to win his dad's Porsche. His journey's not easy. It's a struggle for him to get home on time for Christmas, but he learns a lesson in the meaning of the holidays, ? We'll see. We'll get into it. The movie stars Jonathan Taylor Thomas. This movie came out at the height of JTT fame. Jessica Biel, Adam LaVorgna, who is AKA the boy with the leather jacket from Milk Money that Jackie and I saw on the street randomly in 2005 in New York.
I
We'll
I
talk.
had that exact thought when I saw it.
Sean O'Brien and Gary Cole. The movie was directed by Arlene Sanford. Screenplay was by Tom Nursel and Harris Goldberg, and you can watch it currently on Disney Plus. But before we start, let's get into our ratings rewind.
So you know the drill. Before we get into the movie, we'll reveal the rating our Y2K versions of ourselves would give. Then at the end, we'll see if our current selves agree with our initial rating. Our scale consists of would buy it again,
The best would play on repeat,
5-day rental,
would watch again.
2-day rental,
Okay, but nothing to write home about.
and same day rental.
Dumpster fire, trash, garbage.
So Danielle, what is your Y2K rating of I'll Be Home for Christmas?
I bet you couldn't guess this, Jackie.
You've never seen this
I've
movie.
never seen it. Never in my life. I have gone all these years without seeing this movie. I thought, "Oh, I have had to have seen it." And I was watching it and I thought maybe something, a glimmer of something would have piqued my memory.
Nothing.
No, never seen it.
Y2K Jackie, if you've listened to our crush episode, Jackie was on that JTT train and I was riding it all the way home. So this was a would buy for me.
Yeah, if you listen to that Crush episode, you would know that I did not fall for the charms of the short king that is Jonathan Taylor Thomas. It just didn't happen.
He had to have stood on apple boxes this entire movie because Jessica Biel is 100% taller than him. And they tried to make it seem like she was shorter.
I was like, the height thing is tripping me out here. And here's the thing, actresses typically in Hollywood are not very tall usually.
Hmm.
So it wouldn't have been that hard to find someone shorter than him. I mean,
Hmm.
Rachel Lee Cook and him and Tom and Huck, she was shorter. Like there were so many actresses at the time. So I was very surprised. I mean, I feel personally she saved this movie for me, but we'll get into that in a
You
second.
okay. But also normalize people being the height that they are. Like,
Yeah, there's
so what if
nothing.
she's a couple inches taller than him? Just don't try to lie to us when we know that that bitch is taller than him.
Yeah. I mean, we know now. I mean, when you were younger, did you think about it?
No, it's hard to like judge heights. It's not until like someone says like, "Oh, he's short," and you're like, "Oh, yeah, bro is only 5'5".
Yeah. Yeah.
But Jessica Biel is shorter than I thought she was because she's only 5'7". I thought she was like 5'10".
But again, like in Hollywood, because I feel like a lot of actors are short, I really do think that is some sort of like epidemic going on. Not to, I'm sorry to the short people, but like, why is Hollywood so short? Anybody, like, seriously, there are a lot of
I don't know.
shorties. There are. Not Julia Roberts, though. My girl clocking in at like 5'10 at least.
Tell us about the budget.
The budget for this movie was $30 million and it made 12.2 million. I don't know if this how much it made is how much it made with video VHS sales as well,
Mhm.
but I'm thinking it's just at the movie theater because I have to believe that they recouped some more of this.
Yeah.
It made 3.9 million in its opening weekend and it finished at 6 at the box office. At the end of its run, the film grossed 12 million against the 30 million budget, and it was considered a box office bomb, unfortunately. Roger Ebert, let me tell you about our boy Lil Raj and how he felt about about this
All
movie.
shade.
Lil Raj gave the film 1 star and described the film as Pleasantville made from antimatter, saying the film is about people who seem to be removed from a 50s sitcom so they can spread cliches, ancient jokes, dumb plotting, and empty, cheerful, sanitized gimmicks into our word and time. That your boy has the skills of Nas on Ether, the way that he just slammed this movie. My God. It wasn't that serious.
So a couple of things. It felt very much like any other movie where it's like, I'm trying to get home for Christmas,
Right.
like Plane, Trains, and Automobiles, even like a little rat race thrown in there where you meet like this weird cast of characters. Um, and it's Disney, so you're kind of limited in what you can or can't do, which probably made it feel even more like sugar coated than if it was like just a regular studio with maybe like a PG-13 rating. But
I think we're gonna hit on a few of these things because I got a lot of thoughts because there is movie magic and then there's white man audacity. And boy oh boy, did he come in real strong with almost a Zach Morris like
yes.
privilege in this movie, but we'll get
Yes.
into that. But
I
it
just
wasn't.
pulled up
Mhm.
I pulled up the box office because 'cause I'm like, "It's number 6." It was going into the holidays. It's a Disney movie. Like, the math's not mathing. It's Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Like, it should have been higher, at least for, like, a week, you
Right.
know? So, number 1 at the box office, The Waterboy, understood.
I was there. That's what I went to see instead of this.
Number 2, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer.
Okay.
Number 3, Meet Joe Black.
Still can't get over that fake Bahamian Jamaican accent he was trying to do in that movie.
Number 4, The Siege.
Okay.
Number 5, Ants, and then I'll Be Home for Christmas. And then number 7, right after it, was Pleasantville.
Oh, okay. A lot of
So,
competition.
yeah, a lot of competition, but I still feel like I don't know if maybe the marketing wasn't, like I don't know. It feels like it should have been higher if it was given the correct marketing.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't all bad reviews. Christopher Knoll from I believe from the New York Times called the film surprisingly engaging and gave it 3 out of 5 stars. So there's that. But this mo I tried to be fair and balanced here. I didn't wanna just share what was ripping it apart, but it said surprisingly engaging. Okay.
Yeah.
In August of '97, it was announced that JTT was in final talks to star in a Christmas comedy film that was titled I Won't Be Home for Christmas. While the script was positioned as a vehicle for a 20 something actor, Disney had the script rewritten as a vehicle for Thomas as a Ferris Bueller type prep school upperclassman. As soon as we start this film, there are
Mhm.
lockers. I would have
Yes.
believed this movie more if it was like an all I want to do setting where they are at a prep school or far away. Like,
A She's the Man type school.
right, like,
Yeah.
they're still in high school, but they're far away because I'm not there was nothing about that school scenario that made me feel like they were really in college at all. There were lockers, plus his little minion, his Screech to his Zach Morris,
Ian?
Ian, was very like, he looked 12.
Well, and that's the thing, you're choosing and that's great if you're getting, like, teenagers that can play college students. Wonderful, because we get the reverse all the time.
Right.
But you're choosing someone that already looks super young to try and play older than he is. They said 18 in this movie. I'm like, "Say what now?"
That's another thing of the math. So Jonathan Taylor Thomas has always just he looked young for a long time, right?
Yes.
And so I could understand them trying to give him a counterpart that's a little bit younger so it looks like he's like an upperclassman older. But where let's do the math on this, Jackie. His dad says you haven't been home at all. I agreed for you to go to college away to California.
Mhm.
but you haven't been home at all since your mom died, right? Most
Mhm.
of us, so then you're thinking like he's been at college for a few years, right? But then they say he's 18. So most of us, that's when we first go to college.
Right.
Also, usually when you start in August, there's really not a lot of like he wasn't going to go home for Thanksgiving. That seems to be the only opportunity. This is the first real holiday, so I'm confused.
Mhm.
What we talk about, daddy, because unless he graduated early and was at school when he was 17 and stayed there. And I think so because I think they said like last Christmas he didn't go home or something like that. He came up with an excuse.
Or maybe he
So,
was in, like, a prep school, and so he just went straight from prep school to college, is the only thing I could speculate, and daddy has money,
right.
so
So this is the screenplay issue because don't make
Mhm.
me do this much work. Don't make me think about this because it was just a lot of math that wasn't making sense. And then the other thing that stood up for me is I'd be pissed too. That man got married 10 months after his wife died?
Mhm.
Gross.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So we meet our main character, JTT. I'm not calling whatever his name is. I'm going to say
His name
JTT.
is Jake, so it's
Okay.
close enough, just JTT.
Sake, and he's already just the most uh privileged man I've seen in a long time in a movie.
And he's a like he's not a shyster because he's not like he does lie eventually in the movie, but mostly it's just like he's like, how can I make a quick buck? So it's like he has his little minion Ian kind of do his grunt work for him, and he'll rent out pagers to the jocks and page them the answers to the test and things like that. Just anything to make some money. And it starts out where he has cashed in his ticket home for the holidays for 2 tickets to Cabo so that he can take his girlfriend Allie, played by Jessica Biel. How is a flight to New York? Was he flying first class? Because how is a flight to New York equate to 2 tickets to Mexico, is what I wanna know.
It's probably cheaper to go to Mexico because 'cause they're right there than it is to go across the
Maybe,
country.
yeah.
But I do think my issue with Jake in this movie and why maybe I didn't feel as Christmas movies are supposed to be, like, heartwarming, and I didn't
Yeah.
have the nostalgia with this movie, so I wasn't feeling for Jake, and he was giving very, like, Van Wilder.
Yes.
It's Van Wilder meets Zach Morris kind of thing, but
Mhm.
I feel like Van Wilder has heart, and I don't think Jake had any heart whatsoever. He
It
cared
took
about
Jake to,
his
like, the 3rd act to
yeah,
show any kind of remorse or empathy for anyone but himself.
yeah, very self-involved.
Mhm.
I don't wanna use narcissistic because I hate that everyone just throws that word around nowadays,
And it
but very
wasn't narcissism because he did care about Allie, like, he showed it in a very poor way, but at the end of the day, like, he did. And even Ian, like, he would protect him and stuff. So it
right.
was like,
But I question if it was because he cared about them or if it was in caring in relation to himself.
maybe.
So, yeah, it was hard to find him empathetic. He was very arrogant and yeah, he was running shit. No questions about it. And Allie was eating that shit up. Give her a big spoon
Mhm.
because she was gobbling it down. She loved her some Jake.
She didn't. She knew exactly what his game was and didn't give a shit
No,
until it affected her.
right. Yeah.
And then even then, like, she would call him out on stuff too, but only when it pertained to her.
Yeah. Not when
Yeah.
he was doing stuff to other people.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we also see Jake's kind of nemesis, Eddie.
Who was giving very Andrew Keegan in 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yeah, it's just hit. referring to himself in the third person, trying to get with Jake's girl. And essentially after that jock thing happened, there's like a dorm Christmas party. The Jake, or not Jake, Eddie kind of figures out Jake's plan, tells the jocks, which that was like the jocks would have aced their exam if Eddie hadn't interfered.
Yeah,
So that
Eddie
wasn't really on Jake, that was on fucking Eddie.
but Eddie wasn't gonna say that. Eddie is mad
Right.
because Jake just essentially gets everything that he wants, and he
Mhm.
just doesn't, and he also is confused by it. And Eddie, I was confused too. I don't know how Jake like floating by. And so when they had this like whole thing where he had the jocks throw the test, an extra test to the
Ian.
guy outside the window so that the one of the guys could go, Ian could go take the test and then text the answers to the beeper. I don't know what high tech pager this was. This must be
It
a
had words,
it had
not
words on it.
numbers.
It had words on it like Frederick Douglass. Okay. And then
Prohibition.
Eddie followed Ian and saw this happening, and why did Ian also have his whole dorm? You're doing illegal shit. You got your dorm room open? Question
Yeah.
mark. Like what's happening here? So I don't know. Ian. I don't know if Ian ever got out of his locker, but Eddie threw him into the locker and then told the jocks that it was Jake that fucked them over. And I
Mhm.
don't know what they did to Jake either, because like it's not like he looked like he got beat up. I'm like, was he
No.
drugged? Why did he pass out
I
like
think
that?
they roofied him.
Damn, it's rough out in California.
I know. So, right before that happens, though, Jake's dad calls and he's like, "Hey, if you can get here by 6 p.m. Christmas Eve in time for dinner, I'll give you the Porsche that we built together." And Jake's like, "Okay, let me change my plans." And Allie's thing all along was, "No, I spend the holidays with my family. It's
Right.
really important to me." And so he makes it out like, "Hey, I heard you. I switched the flights back. We're flying home," which then that didn't make sense because I'm like, "How'd you take one ticket to New York and make it two tickets to New York?"
he's
But
got
he's like,
he's got
8 a.m.
other stashes
tomorrow.
of money.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he does run games, so if
Yeah.
he needed to pay for something, he could.
Good for the rental where they were staying in San
Cabo,
Lucas.
that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, so he's like, 8 a.m. tomorrow, meet me, we'll go to the airport, go to New York. And she's all excited because she thinks this is pure of heart.
Right. Nope.
You're wrong, Allie. You're wrong.
But
So,
he was so willing to leave without questioning, because like, yeah, he may think about himself, but it seems really out of character for him to not show up when he said he was gonna take the
yes.
flight. I think
Yeah.
she should have been more concerned.
Yeah, like, where the fuck is he? Have
Yeah.
you seen him? Like, she didn't even say, "Hey, Eddie, have you seen Jake?
Mhm.
Is JTT around here somewhere? Because we're supposed to go home together." And it seems like the families know each other because
Yeah.
Jake's dad says something about like, "Well, Allie's coming home." Like he
Right.
talks to her family or whatever. So yeah, then we cut to Allie's looking for JTT. He's nowhere to be found 8 a.m. when they're supposed to leave. And we cut to the desert and Jake wakes up to vultures flying around him and he has a Santa suit glued to him.
First and foremost, the way that that man was so unbothered, not just in this scene, but in the whole movie, like nothing worried him. For me,
Yeah.
there were so many things that freaked me out. Like, first of all, vultures, I don't know if people understand, like, if I don't know if anyone's seen a vulture up close, their wingspan alone is terrifying. Like, they are big ass birds. They are.
I'm right there with you. I hate birds.
Yes.
So I'm gonna avoid them at all costs.
Yeah. So there's birds, there's having someone's dentures thrown at me, police, child leaving the bathroom without washing their hands. There were so many frightening things in this movie. I and
Almost
he
being
was
run down by a guy looking for a tomato on the floor
right.
that he was
Gr
gonna eat.
eh, eh. So many things, Jackie. I was terrified. I didn't
This
know
is a
this was a
horror
horror
film.
movie.
So Jake wakes up, has no recollection of what happened to him. At the same time, Eddie pulls up and he's like, "Hey, I'm heading home." I don't know why everyone that goes to this school in LA lives in New York. And also, I was thinking about, I'm like, at 18, if I said, "Mom, don't worry, I'm gonna fucking drive home for Christmas,"
Yeah,
like from LA to fucking New York,
yeah.
she would be like, "No, the fuck you're not. You were 18. No."
Well, so she did mention that, like, I don't know what the exact number was, but she said there's a handful of people that were going back
Yes.
east. And I do believe that Eddie actually, like, why Eddie's so his ass is so clenched about Jake and his shenanigans is because I think they grew up in the same town. I think they all just
Okay.
ended up going to the same school. I think he's had a crush on Allie for a long time and he doesn't get the appeal of Jake. And it just really irritates him because he's been going through this shit. He is literally Slater dealing with Zach. This is Saved by the Bell, y'all. I'm just gonna tell you, I'll be home for Christmas. It's Saved by the Bell special holiday special. Two specials.
Too fast, too special.
Shout out to Marley.
So, and Allie, you can tell this movie was directed by a woman because Allie literally was like, "I'm gonna punch you. I'm gonna punch you if you try and touch me. I'm gonna punch you if you look at me wrong. I'm gonna punch you sometimes just because you deserve to be punched. Oh, and if you say anything homophobic,
Racist.
racist, or
Sexist.
sex thank you, I couldn't think of the third thing, or sexist, Imma punch you." I was like, "Yes, Allie.
Yeah.
Yes."
Allie really did stand her ground,
She did.
except when Jake was doing things to other people. Ah.
So, Allie and Eddie go on their way, they start driving home. Jake goes and finds, like, this rickety ass gas station that looks like it's out of House of Wax, and
Yeah, this
calls
man
Allie.
the man lets him use his phone and he's still an asshole. He's an asshole to everybody that tries to help him. So entitled. It's crazy. Does not does not come off well. The guy's like, "Oh, you're going to make another call. It's long distance." And he's like, "Anything's long distance from here." Bitch, he does not have to let you use his phone.
But he was calling collect at first because he was trying to leave Allie messages like the "Atta baby, it's a boy."
Right? Which is fine, but still he didn't have to be rude about it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
crazy. The thing that kept on going through my head is like this man has no money. And never do we ever
Mhm.
see him say, "Oh my god, I have no money. What am I going to do?" He also has no license, no ID.
He's like, "Imma be alright."
And I'm just
He willingly gets in the driver's seat of a car with stolen goods to, like, charm the cop. No
yeah, like
ID.
okay, you're getting pulled over, but you have no driver's license. I just the code like I don't know how JTT or Jake's character didn't fall over from his balls being so fucking big. and weighing him down
He was
like an
just
anchor.
waddling
Yeah,
around.
'cause the cojones on that one.
So, where are we now? Okay, so
He calls home after he
he
calls
does
Allie.
call home, but his dad, because he's the boy who cries wolf. He
Right.
makes up elaborate stories all the time to get his what he wants or get out of things that his dad's like, "Yeah, sure, you're in the desert with a Santa suit glued to you. The the stipulation still stands."
Right.
And so he's like, "Fuck." Oh, and if you're watching on Spotify or YouTube, we have our Listening Santa hats that were
Yay.
gifted to us by our dear friend David last holiday season. So thank you, David.
And
We're repping.
reminiscing is what we do here. We
We
reminisce and
do.
we listen. It's such a great thing.
Hashtag.
What's up, dudes? I'm Jerry D of Totally Rad Christmas, the podcast that talks all things Christmas in the 80s. Toys, movies, specials, music, books, fashion, and fads.
If it was gnarly during Christmas in the 80s, he's got it covered. Wait, is there a lot of things to talk about for the 80s and Christmas?
Well, you got the movie giants like Christmas Vacation, Scrooged, and A Christmas Story. There are TV specials like Muppet Family Christmas, Claymation Christmas Celebration, and a Garfield Christmas special.
Plus classics shown every year.
You also jam out to Last Christmas, Do They Know It's Christmas, and Christmas in Hollis. But most of all, it was a time for the most bodacious, best-selling Christmas toys ever, like He-Man, G.I. Joe, Transformers.
And Cabbage Patch Kids.
Yes, them too. We cover them all, plus much more, including standard segments like Hap Hap Happiest Memory, Gag Me with the Spoon, The Other Half of the Battle.
And Chant with the Littles.
So tune in to Totally Rad Christmas everywhere you get your podcasts. Turn the clock back and dive into those warm and fuzzy memories.
Later, dudes.
So then these old ladies pull up and they're like, Jake makes up some sort of like sad sob story. And they're like, we're not going to New York, but we're going to Vegas to see Tom Jones. You want to come? And so he's like, sure. And so then he's sitting in the back seat with these four old ladies. And that's when the denture incident happens.
Okay, I felt like this scene was the most realistic thing in the whole fucking movie. Because why were they grumpy old ladies? Grandmama is like falling on his lap, and he's like, "Get off my business." Mom and the lady in the front got pickle juice and spills it. Spill like the smells in that car because he can't take this suit off or the hat
Mhm.
off. They don't, just like old people, they don't want to put the AC on. And they won't roll the window down. When she said, "You must be kidding. You don't know how easily an old person can get pneumonia around here." I damn near fell out the chair. That made me laugh so hard.
And then he's starting to get, because obviously, like, it's the desert, and yeah, it's wintertime, but like, it's still fucking hot in the desert. And he's wearing the Santa suit he can't take off. There's lots of smells happening. He's sitting in the middle seat, and he just starts puking. And
And
they
he
get
puked.
mad.
I'd be mad if someone puked in my purse too. Like, I don't know what I would have to clean up after that, but
Would you rather him puke all over you?
I'm
Like, there
glad
weren't
that
many
he
options.
I'm glad he did it, but he got to go. We don't know nothing
Yeah.
about this boy.
So he
And he
gets
ain't
kicked
giving no
out.
gas money.
Yeah, that's true. So the grannies kick him out, and he sees Eddie on the highway. So this man decides to stand in the middle of traffic trying to get Eddie's attention. Eddie sees him, but he just continues on his way.
Yeah, he's not even trying to get Eddie's attention. He's trying to get Allie's attention, and Eddie's panics because he does not want them to reunite. And I mean, this man skirt right out. He was like, "Let's go, let's go, let's go. We got to make up time." And yeah, poor Jake, not doing so well. But somehow, some way, he found a pen, a marker, and some cardboard to try to get
Mhm.
people to. He's trying to hitchhike.
And then I didn't understand this part because it starts raining and he's like, "Oh, great." And then it starts snowing question mark and he's like, "Oh, great." I'm like,
You
"That's
should
not
be
how
sick.
weather works."
I don't know what was going on. I don't know nothing about the West Coast and weather there, so I couldn't debate it. I was like, "That I guess that's right. That it's in the movie." I don't know.
But
Oh, go ahead.
so he finally finds like a display, a fake Santa in a sleigh, and so he kind of that's where he sleeps for the night is next to this fake
It
ass
was a
Santa.
very cozy situation.
It
That
was.
blanket looked top tier. I wanted it. I did.
Not mad at the sleeping
No,
accommodations.
not at all. There was like a pillow. It was a nice situation.
Meanwhile, Allie and Eddie have to stop at some random hotel. Eddie tries to like, "Oh, we're just sharing a room," and she's like, "Nah, bitch."
Beat it.
Yeah.
And his asshole self the next morning when she's like getting out, he's like, "Oh, you don't look good in the morning. I'm glad that we didn't do anything." Ew, I can't. She should have hit him then.
Yes. Her hair was a little unkempt. That was it.
Yeah.
Rude. So then Jake is hitchhiking more and he's kind of like on the shoulder of a highway. And along comes Nolan. Nolan is driving. Go
Who's
ahead.
the boss van. That's the only way I could describe it. If you've ever seen Who's the Boss in the in the beginning of the show, every time you see the van that Tony comes in, it's a blue beat up van.
Maybe
That's the
it's the
van.
same van.
It is. It's got to be. That's the
And
who's the
so
that's the Who's the Boss van.
so Nolan is driving along, trying to put ketchup and shit on his burger and eat while he's driving, drops the tomato. Oh, I must find this tomato that I'm going to eat, even though it's been on my disgusting floorboard.
Oh, there was so much
Fully not
dirt.
paying attention to the road, Jake starts running down the highway because now he's got a car chasing him. Nolan finally notices, hits the brake, and then you just don't see anything.
I have to say that not many things made me laugh in this movie, but Nolan, I laughed out loud with his nonsense.
Oh man, I went and killed Santa.
The way that like when he hits Jake, um Jake leaves behind his boot, and so he pours the boot over and there's snow in it, and it's almost like in his mind he really thought Santa dissipated or something. It was
No, I think he thought he was gonna find a foot in the boot, and he, like, amputated Santa's foot. But but Jake was fine.
Yeah. Jake was fine. He gets in the car. He's getting to know Nolan. And it's like they've been driving for like 2 hours, and then Nolan's like, "Man, I can't believe I almost hit you." And
Jake's
Jake's
like,
like, "I
"How many
can't
times
get
are we gonna have the same conversation, Nolan? Like, what's going on here?"
Oh, man. And then they do get pulled over, and that's when I think that's when Jake finds out that there's hot stuff in the van, and he volunteers himself as tribute to sit in the driver's
Well,
seat.
so Jake sees Eddie again on the highway, and he's like, "We need to catch up to that car. He's with my
Right.
girlfriend." And Nola's like, "Mrs. Claus stepping out on Santa? Not on my watch." And he starts like Nolan gets so indignant on Jake's behalf, and I kind of love it.
He's a true
He's
friend,
a
truly,
he's a ride or die, man.
until it's time to not be. And so the cop pulls him over and somehow doesn't ask for registration, license, nothing. And he's like, "Look, we're trying to get to our gig and at the next town at the children's hospital," which, by the way, that is a really big lie because there's not children's hospitals like in every town. So you have
Yeah.
to be pretty careful about that. And so then the cop's like, "Oh, and blah blah blah. Sure, you know what? I'm getting off duty, so why don't I drive you there, like so you can get there faster." And then when he gets there, he's like, "I want to come in with you guys." First of all, how did the hospital let these randos off the street in a Santa costume and a
We weren't
real?
expecting you.
Where did Nolan get that elf hat from?
Like, and the hospital didn't question, like, you're
Y'all don't
giving
have
out
toys.
kitchen appliances.
And then
and and Nolan is so salty about it too. He's like, that toaster wasn't for that kid. And Jake's like, bruh,
we're trying not to go
let
to
it go.
jail.
But then it's the last kid,
Oh,
sweet little Esteban.
but the
And he's like,
way Jonathan Taylor Thomas says his name, he's like Esteban. Like he makes it so American, and the boy said it so proper and
yes.
slow enough for him to repeat. And he's like, "No, no, no." I'm surprised he didn't just say Steven.
So poor little Esteban is like, I don't want any things for Christmas. I just want to get out of the hospital so I can see mi mama y mi papa. And he likes going like, mi hermana,
I
mi
felt that was
hermano.
a little racist because they're trying to make it seem like he's gonna name off every single person ever, but I was like, I'm gonna let it slide because I didn't see anything a whole like there's a few things. There was that, the Kenyan
The
runner.
Kenyan.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
When you're young, you don't clock shit like that. And like as soon as he said it, I was like, what did he say? And I
Yeah,
rewinded it. And I was like, he did say Kenyan.
wasn't even a marathon. It was just
No, a
like
5K.
right. And he did that man did not look like a Kenyan runner at all. He just looked like a African American man.
Why was he wearing a helmet though?
Girl, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. There was only
We'll get there. We'll
yeah,
get there. We're not to the Santa 5K yet.
no.
Baby steps. We got a lot to do. We got to go to the Turf and Turf restaurant
Jesus.
in Kansas or Nebraska. So the next scene after little Esteban, best actor in the whole movie, in my opinion.
He
He
was.
sold it.
Not a dry eye
Not
in
a
the
dry
theater.
eye.
No.
Everyone's calling their loved ones. Mama, I'm coming home. And so the cop's like, will you help me get my wife back? And Jake's like, nah, I won't. But then he finds out the wife like left the cop's ass and moved to Nebraska. And he's like, oh, you're heading east? Sure, I'll help you.
And
Because we're
my
thinking for
simple
ourselves
ass
first.
through this whole movie, it would have been nice. Like, could y'all not pull the Goofy movie and just show me where y'all are plotting on the map? Because I'm an American. I don't know where shit is.
Even in our own country.
I don't know where anything is. I don't know where Nebraska's northeast. Okay, I don't know.
You're just that Julia Roberts meme with like math symbols.
Also, let's not gloss over the fact that the police officer. I want to ask some of y'all: are y'all not scared of the police? Because I know I'm scared of the police, and this boy was not scared of the popo at all. The police officer said, "Hey, can you help me?" And he's like, "What do you want? Who? What? I would never. I could never. I could never.
Yes, sir. What anything you need, sir.
I'm trying to live, but that
So,
boy, not a
and the
problem."
cop takes the cop car out of jurisdiction because they drive to Nebraska in it.
Yeah, I don't think he's supposed to do that.
I
But
don't
I
think
don't
so
know
either.
anything about what cops do.
Marky, can you let us know? Are you supposed to take cop cars out of state? Please and thank you. So we arrive at the Turf and Turf restaurant, so they only sell meat.
Even clock that that's what kind of restaurant it was.
She was wearing a cow visor with ears.
Girl, was it you think that's what I was paying attention to? I was just trying to be like, Nebraska is okay, so they were I'm doing I'm doing
Geography?
math in my head. I'm not looking at what people were wearing.
Hold on, you didn't even call it geography, you called it map math. Yeah, so
Copyright.
Nebraska, it's in the
Copyright.
middle. He gets to the restaurant. Jake goes in and talks to Marjorie. She's like, he was kissing his ex-girlfriend at the Smiths. Like, fuck no, fuck him. I'm an
Right.
independent woman. I moved away to get rid of him. And then the cop was like, it wasn't me. It was the Jaeger, which is such a fucking man excuse.
A white man excuse. We gotta
White man
specify because I
excuse.
ain't never heard a black man say nothing about no Jägermeister.
I'm just saying alcohol in general as an excuse for inappropriate behavior is a very man thing to do.
Facts. Black men would just say it wasn't me. There's no proof. You ain't, my
There's
dad used to say, if you don't physically touch me in that space, I wasn't there. Prove it.
it's the shaggy clause.
It wasn't me.
So Jake's like, it's not gonna happen, bro. Like, no. And like, you're coming to her place of business. She's busy. She's got customers.
Right.
Now you come in with this bullshit. But as they're like kind of cutting their losses, Edna and the Rambles pull up. And they're like, you know what? We could use a band right now. Let's do this. And he comes in, and Jake is literally writing lyrics for him to sing to the tune of "Oh Christmas Tree." And he's like, "Oh Marjorie, oh Marjorie," which, like,
It is
I'm
literally
torn with this scene because I find it clever, but I also find it so stupid.
the bar is in hell with the amount of effort for this man to try to win his woman back after cheating. This dry, dusty ass yellow pen, legal notepad lyrics song that you trying to throw at me at my place of business of work. You
Yeah.
can miss me with that.
So, but it warms Marjorie's heart. And earlier when Jake was trying to talk to Marjorie, he's kind of like alluding to the fact that like he has a similar situation. And that's when we find out mom died, dad remarried 10 months later. Marjorie's like, it's not really stepmom's fault. Like,
Right. And also you're delusional to think that it was a misunderstanding, whatever happened between you and your
mhm,
girlfriend.
exactly. Yep.
Clear negligence on your part.
And so also the cop says, I'll make it up to you on the velvet skirt of the Christmas tree with his whole chest in the middle of a restaurant where his estranged wife works.
I'll be honest. He got me with that one. I wasn't listening to much, but when he said that, I said, "Okay, let's not throw this relationship away, girl. There might be something there." Cause my skirt of my tree is very nice quality.
So Marjorie and the cop make up. Allie and
He
it
get
then transitions to Allie and Eddie.
Velveeta Town.
Yes.
They
Wait.
decide she wants to go to this middle of nowhere Is it like a
Fake
beer?
Bavarian village
Yeah.
in middle of nowhere.
Right. So Jake is going to get a ticket. The deal was that he'd get a ticket, a bus ticket to go home to New York. The police
Mhm.
officer would buy him. So he is
Yep.
at the bus station kind of like waiting for his bus,
Yep.
and then Allie is two-stepping it out with this boy trying to pretend that she ain't really feeling him. I felt like there was
Mhm.
some sparks.
Yeah,
I felt
because
like
they
she
they end up under a mistletoe as the newscast is, like, doing their report from the Bavarian village, and they're like, "Oh, you're under the mistletoe." There was no hesitation. There
no.
was no, like, there was
Nope.
no coercion,
No.
nothing. She was like, "Alright, let's do this."
Look, Eddie only needed one more day, and I think
I agree.
I think he o I think she was like, "You know what? He has enough height to ride this roller coaster." I'm just saying. He's not too bright, but
And then but they also oh, and then they have this random throwaway scene. So Eddie and Allie
Allie?
are making out in the Bavarian village. And I think it's before Jake sees the broadcast, he's practicing his ho ho hos in the bathroom. And he
This
has like this random ass kid comes out and he's like, let me try these on for size. Like, and he does like 3 different ho ho hos. And the kid was like very thoughtful.
Yeah.
And he was like, the first one's for like my sister and younger kids. The second is like for my age group. And the third one is like, you're gonna scare off everyone. And I was just like, I really like this scene for some
I had a few
reason.
thoughts. The things that came to me in this scene was, we don't really need this scene. It did nothing for the plot.
Yes.
It's also giving me pedophile feelings. I don't know why. Man in Santa suit talking to children.
Yeah.
3, the scariest of it all, he did not wash his hands. He did not wash his hands, little boy,
We know
because he
how
got
you feel
distracted with
about
these questions.
yeah.
But what I'm finding, if I am to give a dissertation on the hand washing epidemic that we are having in this country, is that I don't think it was an oversight of the person who's supposed to find like continuity and think realism in these movies. I just think that, oh, this is the culture. People are not washing their hands, so they're not putting it in movies.
Yeah, they don't think about it.
They don't think about it, because I was watching another Netflix movie this past weekend. Forgot what it's called, doesn't even matter. But the girl thinks she's pregnant. She's taking a pregnancy test. She's in the bath. This is another thing. Why in the movies are so many women going in the bathroom peeing on sticks together? I would, if I thought I was pregnant, Jackie, I'd say, okay, I'm gonna go pee. You would be outside of the bathroom, and I would
Mhm.
come out. Not you sitting there with me in my pee. Like
Yeah.
I just, it's just, maybe we just don't have that relationship. Maybe
Was it
I'm just
4
not the pee.
Christmases?
Huh?
Was the movie 4 Christmases?
No, but that's probably another
Uh,
example she didn't wash her hands. The
yeah.
girl peed on sticks and no hands were washed. And that's it. So it's a trend. It's a pattern that I'm noticing now more than ever.
So, also in this Bavarian village, they have what I referred to as the glockenspiel of harassment, where it's like it's this clock with like humans that are the cuckoos. And it's like, you know how in Pirates of the Caribbean, it used to be like the man chasing the
Yeah.
woman?
Yeah.
And then now they changed it and the woman chases the man. No, no, this was pre pirates feminism because it's definitely a man chasing a woman in the
But
glockenspiel.
it's not even like fake. It's real
No.
people acting this
Yes.
out, which cracks me up. And also, when Jessica Biel says that's something sexual harassment, do
Mm.
you know? I was like, oh snap, they were talking about sexual harassment in the 90s. I know they were, but it just
Well, it's
felt like
like
such dark
like
times.
Pleasantville when we were like, all the things the teacher said are still fucking happening now, and that makes me so fucking
So
sad.
sad.
So then this is where Jake sees them on the TV kissing under the mistletoe.
And he's now devising a plan because the I agreed with the bus driver, like, you know, follow the rules, dude.
Yeah.
Like, the audacity of you to want to take a full bus of people who have places to go and try to
Hmm.
stop at a location that is not on
Is
the
not
route.
on the route. Yep.
And so, he asked the bus driver, like, we need to stop in this town. And he's like, get out of here. This is where I'm confused. Jake starts to MacGyver a situation. He sees a little girl with crayons. He sees a man with a cooler. He sees a man. I don't know what the fuck that man was eating. I don't
I
know
don't
what
either.
that was. I don't know
That
if it was
raw hunk
meat.
of meat on bread.
I don't know what it was. So he sees these three pieces, and somehow he's like, okay, where did the guy? I thought he was going to eat it. So how did Jake get it?
I think I agree with that. I don't know if the guy just like prepped his sandwich for later and then didn't eat it, but I think Jake waited until everyone was asleep because in the scene where he like puts his plan into action, everyone around him is sleeping.
Right.
So I think he waited till everyone was asleep, stole crayons from a child,
And yet,
defaced someone's cooler. And why isn't someone been like, no, man, that's
that's
just my
my
cooler
cooler.
that you drew?
Right. And also, who would just leave, like, who would write in crayon
Yes.
that this is a this needs to go to the hospital for somebody, this is a organ in crayon?
Yeah. And then
No.
it's just a piece of raw lunch meat sitting on top the cooler.
I would have to
But
say, out of all the schemes that Jake did in this movie, that had to be the most ridiculous one.
meanwhile, in Bavaria, there's only one room left, and it's the honeymoon suite. And Allie's not playing. She's like, "Oh, this is so nice, so cozy." And then it like pans out to the full king size bed, and Eddie is on the other side on top of the blanket. Like he just has like a separate blanket over him, and he is fully clothed and has mittens on. And he's like, "Do you need me to put on more clothes?" She's like, "No, it's good. We can go to bed now." I'm like, "Right on, Allie. Boundaries."
I don't know. I would have just let it happen. But she needed that one more day. That's what it was.
Yeah, she was almost there. At
Almost.
least she didn't make him sleep on the floor.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. And Jake is feral. His plan goes correctly. Oh, when he tries to get the bus driver to take the crayon ice box to the town, um the bus driver's like, no. And out of nowhere, now there's two army arm officers or something. I
Yeah,
don't know what division they were in the military. Are like, man, it's so much overacting in this
yeah.
scene. I was like, I'm so torn because there's a black man getting a speaking line, but also, what is this? This is horrible. And so everyone starts just like really abusing the poor bus driver. So he does make the stop. And now he leaves it up to Jake to go deliver it.
Yeah,
Jake throws that shit in a toy box so quick and starts scouring the hotel. Also, Jake, who told you could put hands on a woman at the hotel when the lady
yeah,
doesn't give the information he wants? He like
yeah.
yokes her up. Excuse me, Jake? Again, the audacity. He finally finds Allie and he's like, what's going on? Eddie comes out just McSteamy, like with just a towel. And I think it's hilarious that his first thing is to pull the towel. And I'm
You
just
don't know what
like,
that man's packing.
yeah, like that was a big risk there.
It was. I agree.
But then Allie and Jake tells on himself, like,
Hmm.
he says, "Oh, I have to be home by 6." And she's like, "Why?" And then she finds out, "Oh, so you didn't really want to change plans because of me. It's because you want something. You are selfish." And she
Yep.
goes and takes his place on the bus and she's out of there. Which go to good for you, Allie.
Yeah.
Good for you. She's
I'm
not.
thinking about it. This movie doesn't pass the Bechdel test. I don't think, other than the sister, I don't think there's another named actress, and the sister and Allie don't talk to one another.
But the sister talks to the stepmom, no?
But does the stepmom have a name?
Valid question. Is
My
it
wheels are turning.
Marjorie? Oh no,
No,
that's the
Marjorie
sister.
was
Tracy? No, Carolyn. Carolyn is her
Carolyn.
name.
Okay.
I think they talk to each other.
Okay, so maybe it barely passes.
Very, very by the skin of its teeth.
Yeah. So, yeah, now Jake's in whatchamacallit, the Bavarian town. Allie's pissed at him, so she's still riding home with Eddie. Or
No,
no, she's on the bus now.
mhm.
She's on the bus home.
Jake gets in Eddie's car
Oh,
and they
that's
are
right.
rocking out together. And it's like it doesn't even bother him. He doesn't even think he's done anything wrong whatsoever to
Yeah.
Allie. And Eddie's like, man, I even feel bad for you. That was bad. But then after a while, he's like, you know what? Because Jake is still just as conceited as ever. He's like, oh, I'm going to win over Allie, get my car. We're going to be right back at top when we get back to school. And then it hits Eddie. I'm not helping this motherfucker
Yeah.
living my dreams. And he kicks him out.
And he kicks him out. Yep.
He drove him through
Bye.
Wisconsin. So he got through another state. And again, I'm doing math. Wisconsin. Okay.
So now we are in a little town where Jake gets thrown out of Eddie's car, and he notices that there's like just a rogue Santa running and then like another one, and he notices all these Santas are congregating, and it's a Santa 5K. So he's like, and there's a prize, it's $1,000 if you win. So he's like, bet. And he goes up and tries to like pull a fast one on the lady registering Santas, and she's like, no, like you should have had a receipt, you should have had something. And so this other Santa comes up and pays the $10 entry fee for Jake to be able to run. And this is where we get the Kenyan, because they're like, all the Santas are like fat and out of shape and eating donuts and stuff. So he's like, I can win this, no problem. And then he realizes his only competition is the Santa that paid his way and the Kenyan. That's not really a Kenyan.
Yeah.
Oof.
And he wins only because the guy that helped pay his way, because like the rule is that your hat and beard have to be on when you pass the finish line to win. And so Jake's hat falls off, and the guy who sponsored him essentially kind of slows down to make sure he gets his hat and lets him win because he heard Jake give some song and dance about like his house burning down and just another lie sub story or whatever. And Jake is well on his way to the airport, and then he finds out from the taxi driver that that was the mayor, and the mayor usually uses the money to buy people turkeys. What I question, as the mayor, why not just have a turkey donation
Or a
drive
fundraiser or
if
something.
you know this is an issue, instead of
Yeah.
this damn Santa run? Where is the money for that coming from?
Yeah.
But I again, these screenplay people making me think too hard. So
Jake
go ahead.
does have the taxi driver turn around, takes him to the mayor's house. He writes a note, leaves the money there. And so the mayor's kind of like, I hope you are okay. Do you need to come in? Do you want to spend Christmas here? And Jake's like, no, that's okay. So he calls home and gets his sister, and he's kind of explaining the whole thing to his sister. And she's like, I have allowance money saved up. I'll buy you a ticket home, not out of the kindness of my heart, but because I want to hold this over you for the rest of our lives type thing.
Yeah, and she wants to do it for her dad. That's really,
Yes.
I think she just wants to see her brother.
Yeah.
I'm sure what they went through was so difficult as it is. But I
But
knew how much money was being lost in these many tickets that were not being used.
Mhm.
That's what I was doing, that math
Yeah.
and math.
And he's like, "Well, I don't have an ID." She's like, I'll leave a password that only you will know. And so when you get to the ticket counter, just give this password." And so the password is like, "I'm a jerk and my sister's a goddess," or something like that. It was in that vein. So the ticket lady is like, "Yeah, great. I need to see your photo ID." He's like, "But I gave you the password." She's like, "That's not how airports work."
Right.
And so he's like,
I was surprised because I was like, I know it was lax before 9/11 happened in 2001, but I was like, no, you had to have an ID.
"Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah." So he can't use the ticket his sister bought him, but he sees a dog crate being wheeled and it like has a sticker on it that says like to JFK. And so he ends up on this weird tiny Indiana Jones cargo plane because he like gets in the carrier with the dog. I'm like, how did someone not notice that you're in the carrier with the dog? Whatever. And so when they land, then he lets the dog out of the carrier
To
to
distract
distract the
them.
people so that he can get off the airplane. And I'm like, what if that dog didn't come back and now the owners are very sad on Christmas because their dog ran away because you're an asshole?
Jake doesn't care, Jackie.
I know Jake doesn't care. I care.
I see you got more turned up about the dog than all the other shit Jake has done to everyone
Oh
else
yeah,
at this point.
100%. 100%. So then he's how did he even get
he
to
he took the train and they asked him if he had a ticket. Usually they would kick you off, but
Mhm.
I guess he was able to get home. And when he got to the town, that's when he stole the Santa sleigh and went to his girlfriend's house. Again, more
Because
audacity.
she said, "I wouldn't believe you if you showed up at my house in a one-horse open sleigh."
Yeah.
And so then he shows up and then she's like, "Oh, that's sweet.
So easy.
Okay." So easy. And then he goes to his house and he's like, "Wait, what time is it?" She's like, "Oh, it's 5:59. You still have time." And he's like, "No, I'm going to wait until after 6. I just want to watch my family for a few minutes," type thing. Like he suddenly cares. And so he walks in after like shortly after 6. I'm pretty sure it's still 6 o'clock when he walks in. He doesn't wait that long. And his dad's really happy to see him. He's like, You earned the Porsche." And he's like, "No, I was late.
So
Rules
cheesy.
are rules. Plus, it still has a lot of work to do. And so it's gonna take me visiting to fix the Porsche before I take it," type thing.
I'm glad that Marjorie, when she hugged him, was like, "You smell." Because I was thinking,
Yeah.
the
Not
girlfriend was all over
Marjorie, the
him.
sister.
What's the sister's name?
I don't know.
Oh, well, who's Marjorie?
Marjorie was the cop's wife.
Oh, my bad, Tracy. I'm glad Tracy called him out and was like, "You
Mhm.
smell, boy," because he has been wearing this suit for days.
Yep.
He's had pickle juice thrown on him, his own throw up. He's been rained on, snowed on,
Farted on
dogs.
by the dog.
Yeah, he smells
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And Axe body spray had not been discovered yet.
No. No, it hasn't.
And then
Um,
the parade finds him, and I guess the guy tries to berate him about stealing it, but that was it. Like there was no real repercussions. And then him
no.
and his family get in the sleigh that he stole.
And goes for a ride, and that's "I'll be home for Christmas." And then at the very end, during the credits, we get "Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays" by
Girl,
NSYNC.
I done turned that TV off so fast. I did
You
not
didn't
stay for the credits.
"Merry Christmas,
I heard a little
Merry
bit and I was
Christmas, and
click.
Happy Holidays." No?
No, I was like, okay, I made it through. A few fun facts. This was Jessica Biel's first Disney movie, Elizabeth Friedman's debut. movie. And Jake and Allie are college students, but Jonathan Taylor Thomas and Jessica Biel were both minors at the time of this film. So it was giving very much high school.
Yes, I agree. And I think it would have been way more, not way more believable, but more believable if it had been like a prep school rather than college setting.
Yeah.
There was a cut scene where a little boy urinates on Jake's lap. It is what it is. And then, like I was saying, the end credits, you hear Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Jessica Biel marries that man 14 years later.
This is like I Jonathan Taylor Thomas, it said that he starred in Disney's Man of the House prior to this, but he also starred in Tom and Huck, which I think was also Disney.
It was. The
I'm
Lion
trying to think.
King, he voiced
And The Lion
Simba.
King. Yep. And also Jessica Biel and Adam LaVorgna, somebody at the Seventh Heaven casting must have saw their, I don't know if they were already playing counterparts prior, but they played boyfriend and girlfriend on Seventh Heaven. So, and for a while there too, I think. I can't believe I used to watch that show. Anywho, Jonathan Taylor Thomas's character Jake was found unconscious in the desert, which mirrors what happens to Simba in the character he voices in The Lion King, down to the vulture and vulture sounds.
Interesting.
Thank you for going down this trip with us. If you have any comments, questions, make sure to hit us up on social, on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, and Threads at No More Late Fees. And let's get into our present day ratings. You know, I should have been thinking about what this was going to be. I didn't hate it. Like, it's not the worst thing we've seen. I'm just not going to watch it again, most likely.
Mhm.
So I'm going to say 2-day rental because I can't with Jake and his entitlement. It was too much.
I So, I found Jonathan Taylor Thomas, not the character, but like Jonathan Taylor Thomas as an actor, incredibly charming in this. Like, for what it was, I found him very charming. And I did text message my friend group and I said, I'm watching I'll Be Home for Christmas for the podcast. And I got to be honest, I'm not mad at it.
Jesus.
So I'll give it a 5-day and I'm going to give it the Kid in King Arthur's Court. There's nothing wrong with this movie.
But there is like Kid and Kid Arthur fine, but there's a lot of things wrong, Jackie.
It's all fine. It's like I feel like in my brain I have it akin to Rat Race where like shit's fucked up and we know.
Rat Race is a comedic classic. That movie is fucking hilarious. It's so good.
Did you not laugh out loud in this movie, Danielle?
Only when that man was only that one part.
Because you were too busy trying to do math.
It's not. You leave math out of it.
We
no
agree to
5-day
disagree.
rental. I'm sorry. This is all nostalgia, Jackie. Is you got short king fever over here, and that's fine. But call it what it is.
You know how I feel about Christmas movies in general, and I did not hate this Christmas movie.
Because you love JTT. To this day. To this day. To this day.
I don't see any problem here.
And
Let us know what you think. Hit us up at our quick drop 909601 and MLF 9096016653. Let us know what you think about I'll Be Home for Christmas and JTT and Short Kings in general. Or are you rewatching Seventh Heaven and need to unleash your opinions? Or if you just want to sing us Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and I'll splice it together and we'll have a chorus.
That's lovely.
We love you guys.
We usually do birthday shout outs. I want to say happy birthday to our King Christ, Jesus, Jesus. What's up? One time, Christmas 25. What's up? Happy birthday, baby Jesus.
What the fuck was that?
And during this
What we talking about next week, Danielle?
Join us next week as we go to church with Whitney Houston and the preacher's wife.
Hallelujah. And as always, be kind and rewind.